Peter Gunn was a TV crime drama that aired at the tail end of the 1950s. While it ran for over 100 episodes in 3 years, today the show is largely known for two things. That iconic theme, of course, and that it was created by Blake Edwards, the writer-director of classics like Breakfast at Tiffany's, 10, and the Pink Panther series. In 1966, Edwards was looking to revive Peter Gunn with a movie. He didn't want to direct it, so he sat down with an eager TV documentary director, William Friedkin, and asked for his thoughts on the current screenplay. Friedkin didn't lie and didn't mince words.
And we sat opposite each other, and he said, well, what did you think? And I said, Blake, I think your worst enemy would not have written this script for you. This is a terrible piece of shit.
That's what you went with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could only be honest.
Yeah.
Edwards stood up, yelled at Friedkin, pointing out his middling resume, then thanked him for the chance of meeting such an interesting person, and showed him the door. As he walked out to the parking lot, William Peter Blatty ran up to Friedkin, confessed that he actually wrote the screenplay with Edwards, and he too knew it was terrible. But Blatty wanted Friedkin to know how inspiring his honesty was in the face of a life-changing opportunity. They shook hands and departed. Years later, Bill Blatty, who mostly wrote film comedies, found himself without any job prospects and challenged himself to jump mediums and genres. Looking for inspiration, Blatty recalled a story circulating the press while he was attending Georgetown University. Rumors swirled about a local boy who received an exorcism, a somewhat outdated concept since,
Well, since we learned about mental illness, paranoia, schizophrenia.
Whether it was true or not, Blatty got started on a novel. Wanting to tackle the topic sincerely, he consulted with priests to make sure it was authentic to the long-abandoned practice. The Exorcist arrived on bookshelves in 1971, was an international success, and a New York Times bestseller for over a year. Reinvigorated, Blatty went around Hollywood trying to get it made into a film. Most studios were wary of making The Exorcist. The subject matter alone would be a lightning rod. Warner Brothers, though, saw it as a potential prestigious production. After they purchased the rights, Blatty signed on to produce and adapt his own work. And Warner Brothers aimed high for a director. Stanley Kubrick said no, as he only directed his own screenplays. Arthur Penn had his fill of violent cinema after finishing Bonnie and Clyde. And The Graduate's Mike Nichols didn't want to stake the success of an entire film on the performance of a 12-year-old kid. Blatty personally reached out to the Last Picture Show director Peter Bogdanovich with a note saying if he doesn't do it, no one will. Bogdanovich said no.
I thought, this needs an honest director that is not Catholic, that is agnostic on the subject, and can give this incredible story such a sense of documentary reality.
Then Blatty remembered that overly honest director from a few years earlier. William Friedkin was making his own way through Hollywood, and he had already developed the reputation of being an extremely blunt and tenacious filmmaker. He was about to release his biggest film yet, The French Connection, when he received a package from Bill Blatty containing his book. Friedkin read the novel in a single sitting and called Blatty excited to join the production. However, Warner Brothers had already signed director Mark Rydell without Blatty's approval. Blatty was set to appear on The Tonight Show on Friday night, and he threatened Warner Brothers if they didn't choose Friedkin, he'd tell Johnny Carson about how the studio wasn't interested in making a good movie. That very Friday, The French Connection hit theaters, and Warner Brothers suddenly changed their tune, giving Rydell the boot and hiring Friedkin. Little did they all know that The French Connection would soon become not just a hit, but go on to win multiple Oscars the following year, including Best Picture and Best Director.
The one hope. The only hope. The Exorcist.